So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Meetup 24. Thanks for being here. So today it's our 24th Meetup. It's a lot of meetups since our small community started, which has grown to a substantial size. My name is Pedro Reis. I'll be your host today, and we'll have the pleasure of welcoming Ruth Pozuelo and António Soares. Many of you might already know Ruth Pozuelo from her Kerbal channel and a lot of the videos that she shares with us since the beginning almost of Power BI. And also António Soares is also here because the two of them are, besides being passionate for Power BI, they also love a lot football. And we are in the beginning of our football season, so it's exciting to share a little bit of how things you can do in your free time to test the limits of Power BI connected to football. So we will see today a couple of things that Ruth and António will share with our community. Our agenda today, so we'll have this quick intro at first, then we'll have the first session with Ruth starting in 5 minutes, and then we'll have the second session with António Soares. In the end, we'll have some space for some questions and answers, and as usual, since the last meetup, we'll have a slot to distribute a few prizes to help you guys in your Power BI career and to keep you engaged with the community too. So wait for the end. You guys already know our faces from the management team. If you need any help, if you have some ideas, don't hesitate to contact. We'll also have our general email for us to throw any ideas that you have to help us continue growing the community. Our community already has more than 2,400 members, and we continue to do meetups online for now. And we'll continue to do until the end of the year so far, because, well, we are in a COVID situation, so we must be careful. Our channels, you guys can find our next meetups in the Meetup platform. That's the place where we share our upcoming meetups. So just go to meetup.com, Power BI Portugal. Our LinkedIn, we also post all the events and some news and the links to the videos that we post later. GitHub, we post some materials that you can access. And YouTube will save all these presentations and we post them in YouTube afterwards. And we also have a WhatsApp group that you guys can just use our connection link and feel free to engage other members of the community and ask some questions and share your things about Power BI. News. We have one new upcoming meetup, Power BI Solutions Made in Portugal. So we'll have 5 different solutions being presented from Singularity, DevScope, Visual Thinking, Closer, and BI for All, which will share a little bit what is being done with Power BI in these big 5 companies in Portugal. So make sure not to miss it. It will be on the 3rd of November, and it will be launched in our meetup platform really soon after the event. It will be launched, so you guys will receive the email and you can already sign up. So the next one in less than a month, in 3rd of November, on Tuesdays as usual. So don't miss this one. And we also have planned other 3 meetups to be done until the end of the year. So stay tuned. We will post them also soon. So as usual, we are also always trying to engage more of the community. So we are calling for volunteers. 3 ways of volunteering. First thing, if you and your company wants to be sponsor of our community, send us an email. We grant for the sponsors a 5-minute slot to share your ideas, share about your company, what you do with Power BI with our community, and in exchange you can contribute to our community with some goods, some of the products that we share with our community, because our community is totally non-profit, and so this sponsorship is fully reverted to the community. We are also always calling for speakers so that we can engage more speakers, being national, being international, first time, lots of times. So if you want to share your something with our community, make sure to drop us an email and we'll make sure to help you to come here and speak with our community. And also one thing we want to do also is to build a new website so that we can also grant more means for the community to be connected. If you have the skill, if you have the will, reach us and help us doing it. We really need help on it. For all of these questions, the email for contact, powerbiportugal@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to contact and we'll get back to you. Every meetup now thanks to our sponsors, we are able to give to the community some things, like sometimes certification vouchers, merchandise, some goodies, some books, some licenses, things to help you in your Power BI career. Only thing we ask is that you fill your feedback form. In that way, we can give you better contact, we give you prizes, we have your feedback, and we continue making the community better. And regarding the last meetup, we had 52 responses to the survey, and the 6 winners of the prizes are. So we have Regina Costa, congratulations, you won a Microsoft certification voucher. So we already received an email. And 5 other members, Vinicius, Humberto, Vitor, Isabel, and Linda, congratulations, you won the Power BI Tiles license. So you should already have an email with the next steps to get the license. So congratulations to this. If you want to be enabled for the draw today, make sure to fill the feedback form and you will be eligible. Today, we will be able to send you 2 Power BI books to help you. And we will also give you some time with one of our experts. If you need some help, some questions you have with architecture, or some problems you have with Power BI, we'll do a call with you and try to help you and try to help with some of the problems you have. So in the chat, we'll put the link to the feedback form. Just fill it in the end, wait for the sessions, and then you will be eligible for the draw and you can win off these prizes. And so with this done, let's get to what matters more. Let's get to the sessions. So we'll go and put live Ruth. So let me put you live, Ruth. So, okay, so your image is already live and you can also share then your screen. You're good to go. So Ruth, thank you very much for coming here today.
Oh, I muted myself.
No, it's perfect. So thank you so much for joining. It's really a pleasure. I know that a lot of the people in our community will have seen a lot of your videos and you are a big inspiration for many of them. So thanks for joining today and doing this session about 2 amazing things, Power BI and football, right?
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much for inviting me. Really a pleasure to be here. And thank you for everybody that is watching. I do not have a presentation about myself, but let me just very quickly introduce myself. My name is Ruth Pozuelo Martinez. I am Spanish. I am almost a neighbor of yours. I'm from Asturias. I don't know if you guys know where that is, but I moved 20 years ago to Sweden and I'm living now in Sweden. I'm working from Sweden. So I run a company called Curva that I basically is me, myself, and I just teaching Power BI through my YouTube channels and just doing some consulting work with my amazing customers. So with that said, I thought that, you know, the best way to learn Power BI is actually, in my opinion, playing and merging things that you love doing. So if you like data, you like Power BI, you like football, what a better way to learn by trying to, for example, get data for your favorite team or for your favorite liga, for example, La Liga, what we're going to see. So that's what we're going to do today. I have already done similar work with the World Cup, but I thought that for today, for you guys, because, you know, we are Portugal and Spain, how about, you know, getting some data from La Liga and trying to follow it up on your phones and on your tablets. So if you are ready, one thing I have to say, I am actually going to use as a source a newspaper called Mundo Deportivo. I tried many sources. I found that this was the easier to get the data from, but you have to check, if you're going to reproduce this on your own, you have to check the privacy of the website to make sure that they allowed for it to happen. And if they don't, you have to contact them and ask them, am I able to do this? So what I'm going to show you is mainly for educational purposes, okay? So we don't want to go, all of us, into Mundo Deportivo and get the data and crash their website. We definitely don't want that, so please don't do it. But just for learning purposes and doing it once, I don't think it hurts anybody. So with that said, how about we go and grab what we're going to do? Let me show you. I can show you the final results very quickly. I won't be able, obviously, in half an hour to show you the entire report, But the look and feel is the same as for the one with the World Cup, but it takes...
When you can, send me the share screen and I'll put it live.
Oh, you're so sorry. You're correct. You're correct. Good that you told me. Now, do you see?
Okay, you're good to go.
Perfect, perfect. Sorry about that. I was just showing you guys the Mundo Deportivo page, so you didn't miss anything. So this is a report. We're going to build a part of it. Obviously, we won't have time to do everything, but there has a first page, which is a summary page, and then you have one for standings. So it will show you the classification. Then we have one for the matches, when a match happens and what's the score. We have one for the players. Maybe not. Don't worry, we're not going to do that. So I will show you more about the report later, because once we have built a part of it, it will take a little bit of time to load, so we can go through the report in more detail. So to get data, I tried quite a few resources. And when you're trying to get data, for example, on one topic, in this case, La Liga, where you're going to find that is, you go out and you find something, a page that you like from a magazine or from a sports page. And what I found all the time, it was that the names of the clubs changed all the time. So it was quite tricky to try to get data from different sources. It was easy to get everything from one, and that's why I chose Mundo Deportivo as a source, because it has quite a nice structure and it's quite easy to pick. If we're going to get from using Power Query the results of La Liga, not only the past results, but also future results and current results. So as you can see here, they have a drop down, and then they have jornada 1, 2, 3. Not sure, what do you call jornada? You understand jornada is, I think it's like a round 1, round 2, round 3. And if you look up here on the URL, you will see Mundo Deportivo Resultados Fútbol La Liga Jornada 1. If we choose Jornada 2, look what happened there. There's a 2, and then if we put 3, we get a 3 there. So it has a very nice structure that we can actually take advantage of and get data from. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to copy the URL, go into Power BI, and then into the amazing Power Query. And there is a source called web. Put the link in there. And then we're going to get, at the moment, just for these, the results for Jornada 3. But then we can just feed Jornada 1, 2, and 3, and 4. I'll show you how to do that. It's loading. So the web connector in Power Query is amazing. It's really, really, really good. And the latest features that they have added, it just makes it so easy. So you'll see that Power Query went into the website and tried to figure out, okay, I found some tables, I found some stuff. Is this something that you might want? Is this something that you look for? And look, oh my God, it has the entire table. Crónica. But I'm not going to show you how to get it like this, because sometimes you don't get it this structured. We're going to do it manually. You see, it gives you, it goes into the web, scrapes the HTML code behind and tries to figure out things that you might want out of it. It has also a web view. And then you have the possibility to use these table using examples, and you can scrape almost anything with that. Let me show you. So if you click in here, maybe it's a little slow because we're live. Is it popping something somewhere? Okay, I just have to be patient. So what you're going to get is a preview of how the website looks like, which is fantastic because you don't need to go back and forth between Power BI and the website. You can just look at it from here. And then you basically have to tell Power Query what data do you want of what you're seeing. And in this case, we are in jornada, I'm guessing that we're in jornada 1, so in round 1, but it doesn't matter. What we want to have is the teams, the scores, the date, and the time when they played. So let's give Power Query clues about what we want, and he will help us do the job. So let's say team A, this is the header for the column. We can call it team A. And then we want to have a la vez. When you're using this tool, I really recommend you to pick the results from here, especially if you have like accents and, you know, special characters, because if you don't write it exactly the same, you will get confused and it will give you the answer. So make sure that you click from the list. Then we put Valencia. Pick it from the list. Then you put LG. You see that it says, oh, I think I know what you want. And then it gives you a suggestion. Is this what you're looking for? Like, it is. So we go to the next one. Team. And then team B will be these ones. Getafe. And then Huesca. Oh, you see, once you got the first one, you got the second one. Huesca, Real Sociedad. Perfect. Now we're going to get the date. We do the same thing. We're going to write, we need to help in the along, so we say 26. Oh, no, sorry. Date. I'm going to go in there, 26 of September 2020. Yeah, that's correct. Click outside and let it think. I said, oh, I got that too, no problem. So we go to time. And now when the match has been played, it doesn't have the time, it just has final, so just write final. And again, write it the same way as they write it, otherwise it won't work. Final, to get all the finals, it's just wonderful. And now we're going to get the scores. So we're going to get the score team, or score A for team A, which is, make sure that you are in the right row. A la vez is null. So 0, 0. So we'll put 0. Grab it for the list just in case. 1, 0. Did I get it right? No. 1, 0, 1, 0. 2, yeah, that's correct. 1, 1, 6. Yeah, okay, you got it now. And then we go to score B. And then we go up here. And then we go 0. And then let's see if he gets it. 1, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2. Yeah, oh, perfect. So now we have everything that we wanted from the website. When you click OK, come back to Power BI, it is going to appear a new table with the data that we want. And then we just click, yes, that is the data that we want. Go back. And it will load. You see the data here? So now if you go up here, what it's doing basically is grabbing the HTML code behind that web page, and then it's extracting from the different parts the information that it wants. But you don't need to know HTML in order to do that. Power Query will guess what you want. And then if we go up here and we change instead for jornada 3, we put jornada 2, the data will change to jornada 2. So now basically we have some code that if we make this last part as a variable, we can actually get all jornadas, all rounds in one go. Let me show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a function for this. We're going to go up here and we write the jornada number as text. And then instead of putting 2, instead of hard coding it, we're going to put the parameter in there. So this is jornada number. Click OK. And it's going to convert this table into a function. So now every time I write a number here, it's always good to test your functions to make sure that you didn't write anything wrong. So let's say jornada 4, invoke. So we have now jornada 4, if I put jornada 5, Valladolid, and this is working beautifully. Perfect. Okay, so now we have a function that can scrape every round. The only thing that we need is a table with all the numbers to feed it to the function. I don't know if it makes sense, but I think you will understand it once I show you. We're going to give this a proper name, function for nada, for example. So you know what it does? So now we're going to go to new sources and we go to blank query. And here we need to write, again, a list that gives us for each row a number from 1 to 34, because then we're going to feed the function to each row number. I'll show you. So to create a list, you just do this curly brackets, I think it's called. And then we want a 1 from 1 as in dot 38. So this will create a list between 1 and 38. Click outside, and we have the list here, 1 to 38. And then we are going to convert it to a table. Okay. We're going to call these matches. So now we have the table. So as you can see now, we can, the function that we have here, instead of manually putting the numbers here and getting the rounds, what we can do is that for each row, feed this function and then getting all the rounds at the same time. And to do that, it's actually quite easy. You go to add column, and then here invoke custom function. We go to jornada. And then here you can pick either text that you write something. We could write, for example, 1, 2, 3, but then we will be calling it manually. We don't want that. We want to have the column 1 to feed this. And yeah, I get an error always. And it is because you remember that we wrote in here that it should be text. And if you look here in column 1, even though we haven't specified anything, but you can see it's the same as in Excel. Every time you see something that is aligned to the right is a number, and if it's aligned to the left is the text, even if you haven't specified it. So for Power Query, even if it doesn't say it is a number, it is treating it as a number. So we have to go one step up in Power Query, change this to text, insert, and then invoke custom function, and then you get this data privacy. This is actually quite, I know that most of us just click it away, but it is quite important to understand what it does. And the things that can happen is that you're actually sending your personal data or your company's data to external service without knowing it. So let's say, for example, when you are visualizing data on a Bing map, what is happening is that the Power BI is sending it depends. It could be latitude and longitude, or it could be the country name, or whatever it is that you're specifying for your map. It's sending it to Bing, the service in the cloud, and then Bing returns back a position, and then that's why, and plots it in a Bing map. But you are actually sending data outside your company, and if it is location and it's just coordinates, maybe it's not that important. If you're working with Microsoft has your data already, it doesn't matter, but it could be other services that it might be an issue. So here what you're basically saying is that, okay, the two services we're using, or the two sources, are web sources. They are public sources, so you can actually ignore this. But depending on what your sources are, you need to be careful about how you set the privacy level. So think about it, not just click it away. In this case, it's public data, everything, so it doesn't matter. Everything is on the web, and we don't own anything either way. So let's see. So now what it's doing is basically invoking the function. So it's going through every row on the table and it's just feeding the function. So row 1 is this one, is going to get the data for round 1, for round 2, for round 3. It goes actually quite fast, but while it is loading, let's talk a little bit about this thing and how to visualize data. It will take just like 5 minutes maybe to load. So when I was doing this for the World Cup, what I was thinking is that, okay, how about we build the same as here? How about we build a Power BI report that we can actually use to follow the World Cup on the fly? So you could get in your mobile and then you can, turn Power BI, put it on, and then refresh the thing and get the data without actually having to go to a newspaper, all that kind of stuff. So what I was thinking is like, okay, probably people are going to be sitting in a bar and they want to check their favorite, how is the Real Madrid doing? So for that, I wanted to have big buttons. If you're going to use your mobile, you want to be able to, people have big fingers, to be able to click on things easy. So that's why everything is like made bigger. If this would have been a web report that you have a mouse to click, then you don't need to put all this real estate for these big icons. It looks neat, so nothing wrong with that, but it takes quite a lot of space. Another thing that I think is quite nice when doing reporting is to have a summary page. And the reason for having a summary page is because you introduce the reader right away into what they are going to see in the report without them having to click everything in order to see, okay, what's in there. If you look here in this report, you can see that you're going to see standings, players, matches, and then this was the knockout phase for the World Cup. There's no knockout phase here. But anyhow, you get the idea, right? So you can actually see, oh, okay, so this report is about that. And then you can click on Real Madrid there. And then when I click there, click too many times. When I click there, it will actually filter every single page of the report, because I was thinking, okay, how would I use this app? I would say, okay, I want to see how my favorite team is doing. So I want to click on it, and then I want to see everything, the standing players matches of that specific team. Then if you are doing this for some other purpose, maybe this would not have been the optimal layout. So you have to think about who is reading your reports all the time when you are doing the final design. So if we go here, for example, to standings, now that I have clicked Real Madrid, we will see how it is doing so far. I refreshed this morning, so it should be up to date. 10 points, I think it has 10 points, right? Madrid, 3 wins, it is number 1. So it is ready to classify for the Champions League. It was quite neat. Now you might say, okay, now I know how Real Madrid is doing, but I want to know how everybody else is doing. So instead of having to go back and then remove the filter, what I think is quite neat to do is to have a reset. I have to control because we're in Power BI desktop, but is to reset the filters, to have a button to reset filters. And that is quite useful, not only so you don't have to go back, but also sometimes, because now Power BI remembers filters that you've put. Sometimes it's very hard to get back to 0 where nothing has been selected. It could be quite frustrating for a user try to find, okay, what filters are there? And sometimes, the filters are hidden, so you don't actually see them. So I think it's actually quite neat to have always a button that wipes out everything and gives you a clean report, so you know that nothing is being filtered. Probably we should turn it around. Something that I haven't done with this report, and I didn't do it for the World Cup either, is to resolve for when you have the same number of points. Maybe that's something for you guys to do. And another thing that I think is quite neat to have on any report is also to have a home button. So in the case that you've lost in the report some drill downs, some drill tools, some bookmarks, you can always go back home and say, okay, let's start over. Now I want to see players or whatever it is. Shall we check if we got the data now? Oh, it's a little bit slower probably because we're live. I really would like to. If you don't, if it doesn't load, I can show you on the final report, but it should actually load. Maybe we can take also not so many. Let's get 10. And see if, there you see. So now that I've got a few less, it doesn't take so long when you're actually doing, but because we are live and the bandwidth is being used for everything else. So if we go in here, you'll see. So jornada 1, round 1, so you see a table that was generated. So this function went and got one fed, and then you got this table. This is for 2. This is for 3. You see that the tables are changing, which is exactly what we want. So now the only thing that is left for us to do is to load more, in case there's something more. I don't think there's anything more. And then this use original column name is quite annoying. That is pre-ticked, but ta-da! There we have the data, everything that we wanted. And then something that I really recommend always to do in Power Query is to actually set the field type. So as you can see here, it didn't do it. There is a button, I don't know if you guys know, but detect data type. But if it didn't do it from the beginning, probably won't do it. Oh, it did it. Good. So you don't have to do it manually. Oh, it did a good job. I'm impressed. What it didn't got, it was the date. So let's put this as a date. Replace current. Yeah, why not? And yes, this is something that happens also very often. I'm sure that it has happened to you guys too. Let's bring it back to text. So date, it depends on, I have, for example, English American setting in Power BI. If you go to the regional settings, file, options and settings, options is you can see regional settings there. So I have English United States, and depending on what settings you have here, your date, you might get it right off the bat or not. This is not a format for the US. So it doesn't get it right. If you want to get it right, you have to right click and then go to using local. And then it depends on what the format is. You have to choose a country that has this specific format for it to work and to read correctly. And if the regional settings of your Power BI file would change, you might get into trouble, just so you know. So we go to date. And then in here, you have to try to find a country. I mean, maybe we put Spain, it works. Let's see, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's no search button. And my time is running out also. Let me see. Spanish, Spain, because it's a Spanish newspaper. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, and now we have the date. So as you can see, it's actually very, very easy to get data from web sources and to create like small functions that allow you to pull data from multiple pages, like we did for the newspaper. You could obviously also go for each jornada and do the same and have like 38 tables and then put them together. But as you can imagine, that would not be very effective. It would probably slow down Power BI quite much, especially when you're doing merges are, I think, the toughest thing for Power Query to do. If you have a lot of data, it will slow down quite a lot. So I actually think my time is up. Do you guys normally have questions now or at the end, or how do you do?
Thank you very much, Ruth. No, so usually we will we'll do some questions we'll gather and we'll do them in the end.
Okay.
I have maybe we are setting up for the second speaker. In the meanwhile, I can put you here. I have one question for you right now that I can post you, which is if you also scrap the logos URL and how you do it.
Oh, yes. I have actually, I scraped the logos from here, but they were too small. I didn't like it. So I actually went to another website that had the, I'm actually planning to ask El Mundo if it's okay for them that I do a video, and then I can show you guys how to do everything. But I need to ask these guys first, so I'm sure that I'm not breaking any law. So I actually got it from these guys because they have really, the logos that you see are quite nice, are the ones that you see here. Let me show you. There are these ones. I can show you actually how I did it. And this is the actual Power BI file with everything, with all the tables. You see here, big logo. So I went to the source and then I extracted the, I think I can show you there. So there is a URL that they use for the small logos, which is what's called Tiny, that you see here. And it was used, I scripted using, the Power Query script tool, like the web tool. And then I realized that if you use this, let me show you the logo, because that was also very small. Oh, my computer is very slow. Sorry. Do you see that it's very, very small? I think this is why, because it's called Tiny. I realized that they had another set of logos that were bigger, and it was called Head instead of Tiny. If I replace Tiny, I got the bigger one, you see? So now you can just scrape these, all of the logos. You just need to know which URL goes for which. You'll get it here on the other page where we were. So you see you have the club and then you have the logo. So you can get the club and the URL for the logo, and then you change Tiny for head, and then you get this beautiful big logos that I'll show you. You will need to do, again, because I was using two sources and they call the clubs differently. I had to do a lot of replacing. So SD had to go, they had like CA. I'm going to show you how they looked before. So they have SD A bar, they have SD Westcat. So they didn't have the acento. How is it called in English? The
Accent.
Accent. Yes, thank you. So you have to make sure that these, either you create a cross-reference table or you just replace them, whatever is needed, and then you can then match them together, because then I matched the big logo with the club table. And then I actually scraped the small flag, but I think they changed the URL behind. I did this like a month ago, I think. So there has been a small changes, but I don't use the small logo. I only use the big one. So that's how I did it. I hopefully the Mundo Deportivo would say, okay, so I can make a few videos and show you how I did everything. And then you can reproduce everything if you think it's fun.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your session, Ruth. And we'll hope to see you soon in another one. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and enjoy your evening.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just 1 minute for us to set up our second speaker. Okay, so I think I'm going to put live.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can
Yes,
you hear
yes,
me?
I can hear you,
Yeah?
António.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, so let me put you live. Give me 1 second. Okay, so we have your image live and you can share your screen. So hello, António, and thanks for joining us today. I know we were having some connection problems, but fortunately you were
Yeah.
the second speaker and we got it just on time, right?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really used to the Teams, so I'm not using it. But yeah, but now everything looks fine. So I think we can start.
Okay, so you're good to go. Thanks for joining our session. It's really nice to have you here. I've been speaking to you for some time now and wanting you to come and participate also in our meetups. And it was a bit difficult for you to attend presentially, but now as we are confined, it was a little bit more easy for you, even being afar. So it's really nice to have you here. So thanks for joining.
Yes, it's really good to be here. So just let me know, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You're good to go.
So hi everyone and welcome. So my name is António, and first I want to congratulate Ruth for this great session and for her work. And I would like to talk as well everyone for being here today, and I hope that everyone is doing well. I want to thank you as well, Power BI Portugal team, for this opportunity. So, and as you know, for this session will be related with the Power BI and football, and I will show what was the result when I decided to put these two together, Power BI and football. So, and to the final result, you can see on this slide, I gave the name of the Football 2.0, the global view. So let's start. I have just a few slides to show, so don't worry. I will go to the report fast. So the agenda, I will start talking a bit, a quick slide about me, and then I will give an idea what were the reasons behind this report, why I built this report. Then we'll show the report, what information is available on it, and how to explore it. Then I'll try to share the next steps for this report. I just need more time to do some improvements to it. And to finish, and if I have time, I will try to show some other reports that I worked before this one. So, my name is António Soares. I'm Portuguese. I moved to Malta 2 years ago to work at the Common Group. And this Common Group is a company in the iGaming industry. I started working with Power BI since 2016, if I don't miss the date, but it was in 2016. And yeah, and football is with me since I remember, since I was younger, and with a dream to become a star, a football star, but yeah, no chance for that. Okay, so, and what were the reasons for this report? Why a report with football data? So when I have time, I always looking for new ideas to create a report. And with the amount of data that we can find today about football, it sounded like a great idea to start something related with football. So, and another reason was the opportunity to have the data, to have a report with the data with my own layout where I can create my own filters, and at the same time a report that I can create that I can choose how to visualize the data and compare the data as I want. And the most important, and that's the reason why global word is in the name of the report, is to have a report where I can export the data from different leagues in the same place. Compare leagues, compare teams, and compare players as well in a global view. And finally, these were some questions that I had in the beginning when I decided to create this report. And I was looking for some answers to this, and sometimes I needed to go to different pages to get my answer. So I can call these 3 questions like the initial requirements for this report, and I will show you how this report can answer some of these questions. Okay, next. So the report started in 2017, and in that year I started looking first for some data source for the report. It wasn't easy to find a good, free and reliable data source that I could use to create a report. But yeah, I found it, and I published one version of this report in 2019. And here, when I mention publish, it means it was when I made it available online for everyone to try. So this is what I consider like a publish. The data that is available in the report, you can see here a resume of the numbers of the data that you can find in the report. So in this report I have like the 7 best football leagues, and in this case, just to avoid any kind of discussion, I just want to mention that the best football leagues here is just a personal opinion. So yeah, let's see if everyone agrees with that. And this report is refreshed daily on a daily basis, so the data is up to date. So now it's time to check the report. Now, first I'm going to show the report for the previous season, for the latest season, because it is closed and full of data, and we can see a lot of data there, and the analyses are different. After that, I will show the report, the new report for this season, with new features, and this report is not yet published, but I hope I can publish it soon, maybe this week or next week. So let's follow this link and hope that it's opened in the second screen. Okay. So when you open the report, this is the first page of the report. Is like the global view where so starting from the left side of the report of this page, you have like a menu just to navigate between pages, between data. You have like just a small tooltip here to tell you that the times are all in UTC. And this is the last time that was refreshed. This is from the last season, and this was this day. On the top of this page, you'll see a resume of the data that I showed, and this is in the competition. In some parts of this report, you'll have like tooltips with even more detail about the data that you are seeing. So in these competitions, you can see all the 7 competitions that you have available and the number of teams for each one. So, and on the right side, you will find 3 tables, and in these 3 tables, you can see the top scorers, and this is the global top scorers of the 7 competitions. You can see the different leagues here from Italy, Germany, Spain, UK, and the top scorers. In this case, last year, the player with more goals was Immobile, or how do you call this guy in Italian? And in the second table, you have the top teams in points per game. So this is like, this doesn't show the points that a team has. It shows like the points divided by the games, the number of games. So you have an idea how many points they do based on the games they play. And you can see this is ordered by this. But last year was was not a typical year. So as you can see, like teams from France and Netherlands, I think they have less games than all the others. So, but this logic makes sense because it's the points divided by game. The third table, you can see you have all the teams, and you can compare by goals scored and the goals conceded. And you can see that the best team scoring goals was Manchester City, and the team that conceded more goals was less from Italy. Yeah, 3 different analyses. And here in the middle of this page, you can see a map with the 7 leagues. And for each country that has a league in this report, you can see this mark. And if you put your mouse over the mark, you can have a detail per country. So you can have the top 3 teams in the standings, and even the top 3 scorers for that country. You can move, and it will show you for each country a tooltip. You can even use these marks to filter the data in the map. So you can see the top scorers just for France, the top teams points per game for France, and yeah, then the goals for France as well. But some of these don't make sense if there is not a global analysis, but you can filter by these marks. Okay, in this page, you have this global view with all the leagues, and then we have the second page, that is the team form. And this team form, you can see the performance of all the teams. You have this table in the middle that you can see when they win, when they lost, and when they draw. It will be, and even if you use your mouse, you can see the result of this winning, of this draw. In this table, you have teams for all the leagues. And to be easier, if you want to analyze just one league, you can use these flags. These flags are filters to filter the leagues by the teams by country. So if you select UK, you'll see only the teams for UK, and you can analyze for UK and see how the teams performed in that season. You can navigate between countries and check. In this page, you have as well an option to clear filters. So if I want to go back to the global view, I can clear the filters and I will have all teams again. So another filter in this page is I call the match result, that you can filter for the win, losses and draws. And this is very useful. This was one of the latest filters that I added here, and with these filters you can do analysis like if I want to see when Liverpool lost, I can see all losses here. We have like 3, and I can have the detail of the games here. So I can see easily and fast that which games Liverpool lost, and with which team, and the result as well. We can do the same way, just if I remove the filter and I can as well, using the control key, I can select the 3 losses and I will see it here. But yeah, the filter I think is a much faster option. So in this match, in this table on the bottom, we can see as well match details. We have the date, the result, and the status as well. So if I select like a team, I can maximize this, expand this to see all the games for Liverpool in this case. And I think this page is, we can even filter by round, but yeah, it's to analyze some specific rounds if you need. Okay, so this was the page with to analyze the performance of the teams, even the upcoming schedule matches. If you put your mouse here, you can see which game is going to happen in this specific day. All these games last year were cancelled. Like I said, in Netherlands and France, they cancelled this. So going to the next page, you will find the matches. In this page, we still have the same filters on the top by flag. We can filter our country, and in this page we'll find 3 main tables. One with schedule matches. Now, yeah, the season finished, so we don't have any schedule matches for the previous season. We have a lot of cancelled and cancelled matches. And you'll find here as well some postponed matches that we'll see in the next report, and ongoing as well. Because if this report refers and one game is in play, we'll see the result at that time here as well. And another table with the finished matches that. Yeah, this is just games that finish already. So yeah, we have another filter here to select just one team. Like I was looking before, I will continue to use Liverpool is a good team. So we can see here the finished matches, and if they have schedule, we'll see as well, and cancel. Okay, I will be back to this page in the report for this season, because in the schedule matches we can also see more detail with a tooltip that will show more detail about the game. In the next page, the standings, we have the information just about the standings, so we can, is a global view as well. All the teams are here. We can order as we want. If we want to check who wins more games, we can see here draws and losses as well. And again, the games, scored games and conceded games, and the difference of goals. We can, on the right side, the table on the right side, we have the list of the top scorers. These top scorers, in the data source, we have 10 top scorers for each league, so it will be 70, and we can filter to see per country. We can see the top 10 for each country. Even we can select like a team, and we'll see how many scorers this team has in the top 10. Okay, so this was the report for the last season, and now I'm going to show what changed in the report for the new season, and even a new feature that is still on testing, but it's almost ready to be published. So the season is 2021 now. The data is exactly the same. The number of leagues, teams, matches, and scorers. And in this main page, nothing changed. In the team form page, it changed a bit. We have more colors here. So the difference of these colors is can be. You can find the description of these colors in the legend. So the light green is a home win and the dark green is a away win. The draw is the yellow and the light red is a away loss, and the dark red is home loss. I changed this a bit just to identify, because for me, when you have like a win, away win is more, for me it's more important, because it's you are playing away and it becomes more important. So I created this way to distinguish the different kind of results. Even a win can be different for me, and even so the importance in this case. This was one change, and this legend is just to explain. It can be a bit confused, but I think it's another level of detail. So here in the schedule matches, I can show you what we have here. When you have a match that is scheduled and you put your mouse over the match, you can have some detail about the performance of these two teams in the last 5 matches. You can go game by game and you can follow what they are doing, how they did in the last 5 games. So it's even more detail, just to have an idea how they are doing and what can happen in this game. Here, as you can see, we have a lot of postponed games, some games that were postponed, most of them related with COVID and others and other reasons. We don't have a reason here. But, okay, this is exactly the same. And now this sporting betting here. So this is a quite new section, and the idea of this section is to create a kind of user's account that the user can select what data he wants to see or what data he needs to see. And it can be as well, we can limit the data that the user is going to see and filter somehow the data that we are presenting to them. So in these controls, when a user gets to this page, and if the user doesn't have an account, he can ask for account just sending an email. Clicking here, it will open your email and it will send an email to request to join. But if the user has already an account, he can just put the user here, username and the password. And this is a text field, not a password field, because it don't have. And it will change, and it will give the chance to the user to go to his account. So this user is registered as António Soares, and to get And to access the account, you just need to click login with the right button and drill to the account. So we have the option to go to my account, and here we can have some details about sports betting. So just to an important note, in this page and in this area, this is not a betting section. So you are not going to place any bets. This is just data. It's just data about the odds of the game. No options to place bets, just to be clear. And let me show you something. So here in the top, we can see the odds that are available for the 7 competitions that we have, the number of teams in this in these competitions, and the number of games. And bet options is like you have a bet to, you have not bet options but odd options, or the naming is not maybe the right here. And let me try access again this. And if I go here, you'll have some detail about the odds for the games. You have the competitions here, the leagues. You can filter the Premier League, the Portuguese League, and like BetClick as a betting house. You have different options just to check, to compare, and you can even select the odds that you want to check, that you want to analyze. Yeah, this is just something to be able to filter this. This is just data about odds to compare. But the important idea that I want to show here is the option to create this login. So you can, this is not the, I'm not using Power BI accounts here. I'm using accounts that I have in a table that I can have in an Excel file that I load the data to Power BI, and then I can show you another user. Let me just, I think was this one that I used, right? Yeah. Okay, this is the same user. This user has all the data available here, and if I do the logout and I try user 2, I will have a different user, Justin, and you can drill through to his account. He will have less data available and just 2 competitions, because even this user requests access just to these 2, or we can have even other sports, but this is more related with football. There is an option as well to send an email if you need some support and or some problem, some issue. Okay, this is the area, but like I said, the idea here is that it is possible to create these user accounts for any kind of data. Not this is related. This is a report related with football, so sports odds make sense to be here and to use it. Even this how can I say, this authentication could be done in the first page, so to have access to all the data, and then you can filter as you want. In this case, when the user access, the filter that I'm using now is the competition. So some users have access to all competitions, other users have access just to 3. And this can be done for products, by location. We can filter for anything, for any kind of thing. And just to finish, the last page that I didn't show in the other report is the About page. So this the reports can be found in my LinkedIn account. If you need, you can test it, you can try yourself. This one is not available yet, just you'll find for the season, for the previous season. If you go to LinkedIn, just to let you know, if you want to give it a try, you'll find an article with quick access to the some detail about this report, and we'll have a link to follow, and you can try it. You can check the data, you can give a look, and and extract your information from this data. Okay, and from this report, I think I hope I didn't miss anything. It's the first time that I'm showing this, so I hope I didn't miss anything. So how this report works. So this report is using two web APIs to retrieve the data. So I use, I'm retrieving the football data from this football data web API, from where I can get data for leagues, teams, matches, top scorers, and standings. For the new section with the odds for the games, I'm using a different web API from where I'm getting this the data for leagues, teams, matches, betting houses, and odds as well, and putting everything together in Power BI. And the way to use the web APIs, Ruth showed already a bit about it, and is the same logic that I'm using. And the next steps on this report, the idea is to add more competitions. So for the football data, I have I'm using the web API, but it has some restrictions. So I'm trying to use just the free package of the web API, so I have limited competitions to load. And these three are the next three that I would like to add to this report: the Champions League, the Serie A from Brazil, and Champions League, the Championship from England. I would like as well to find a source with more match details, but isn't being easy to find. Another thing to improve is the user account section, to add more detail and expand the data that is there. And it will be perfect if I can create more KPIs to compare teams and to have like a percentage of winning probability for each team in the scheduled matches. To be nice. Just a quick overview about other projects, so that you can find in my LinkedIn as well. I did a Facebook activity report that is not working anymore after the GDPR. So you can find some detail. It's like an article as well. You'll find it is available online, it's published, is working. It's not loading more data, but you can go through it and see how it was done. Just showing, sorry, and LinkedIn, and I had another report with a LinkedIn analysis, and you can see this one is working and is using the data that you can request from LinkedIn. So who doesn't know, you have the option to request your data from LinkedIn. So, and this data will be delivered in the Excel files. So you can work with this data from the Excel files, import to Power BI, and analyze all your connections, all the data that you have, connections, positions, and by company, by position, by year. When you connect to the persons, how was your line in the time of connections, and yeah, you can find a lot of things. So, and that's all. And thank you all for being here today. I hope that you have enjoyed. And if you have any questions, you can find here my contacts. So just send me any questions or feedback that I will try to reply to you. Thanks. And have a nice evening.
Thank you very much, António, for sharing. We can see you did a lot of work already with your model. We are going now, everyone, to launch here in the Q&A. You can see here the link for the feedback form. And also, while we have some questions that the community sent here for António, I will put here in the meanwhile the link for the feedback form. So make sure not to miss it. Give us your feedback. How was this session and the previous? How was the event? Which topics you would like to see in the next events? Do you think you can use something you learned today? So give us this feedback, and you can win one of the 4 prizes we have for today. So thank you very much, António. Everyone, make sure to give us a feedback. In the meanwhile, António, I have here a couple of questions. I will give you a few ones if it's okay for you.
Okay. I'll try to answer. Let's go.
So I have some questions about, for instance, how are you collecting data for this report, which you show that is the API, and also what if the API you are using is free, and if you can share the name and the link of the API.
So so the APIs, the name was in that slide in PowerPoint. I can share again if I'm not sure if it's possible.
We'll put it back then in 1 minute. We'll put back the slide. In the video, it will be available in the part that you show. Yeah.
Sure. So, but related with the 2 APIs. So the API, like I said, the API has a free package. You will find some limitations on this free package. That's why it is free. So you have, I think, is 12 competitions, and you don't have the match details. Even the odds, you don't have it available there. And even for the requests to the API, you have the limitation of only 10 requests per minute. So even in Power BI, because Power BI is really fast requesting data, I needed to add some delay there. Like for each request, I was adding some delay just for Power BI, not to avoid Power BI to do more than 10 requests per minute. But you'll find the free package. It has good data. All the data that I showed there, that I showed in this report, is from that data source. And then the other data source for the odds is used just for that section for the odds. And even this one is free, but you have limitations as well. You can do in this one, I think the free package, you can do 500 requests per month.
Okay. So thank you for sharing some.
The names are in the slide. I can show you later.
You can put it live now, and we can share.
Okay, let me just.
If anyone missed the link for the Q&A, check it in the comments. We still have it there. So let me put back.
So if I go to the page, so the name is just this, is football data. Okay. You can search in Google. I'm not sure if it's .com or something, and you have the odds API.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, just search in Google, and for sure you are going to find it.
António, we have also another question. It's about the how are you managing besides getting the data from the API? Can you tell us a little bit about the data transformation behind this report? How did you model the report?
So that's a complex one. I think this is a good question just for another session because yeah, I did a lot of transformations because for some parts of the report, so you receive the data from the data source. One game will be like one row, and I need to transform that row so I can use that row for two teams and to create the filters. So if I filter one team, it will filter the home team and the away team. So if I'm looking for data for Liverpool, I want to get data even if Liverpool is the home team or the away team, and these are two different columns. So there are a lot of transformations that, like I said, it's not easy to explain all of them here now. Even this that performance table, I had some work there to transform the data and to tag each record as a win or a loss, because one row will be a loss for one team, but the same row can be a win for other team. So there is at the transformation level, I needed to do some work.
For
a
sure,
lot of work. So, but like I said, maybe we can prepare a different session, and it will take for sure 40 minutes to explain all of this.
All right, so it's good to have. So maybe when we have the next version ready for the 2021, then we'll call you for a session with more details on that. In the meanwhile, we'll collect some feedback from the community for sure.
Yeah, sure.
That's very interesting.
We can go and open Power BI and go in a more technical session just to talk about some of the transformations that I did there.
Indeed, it's because it's a very uncommon attribute. It's because it's two teams in the same line, and you have to calculate different things for each of them. So it's a very difficult and curious attribute, right?
Yeah, and this is the case that you need to duplicate the line and then play with the home team and the away team, and you need to find your logic, how you will classify, how you will say that this line is for the home team and the other line is for the away team. Yeah.
I confess that at one point I worked on a report like that, and the way I worked on that was that I put who is the team, who is the opponent, and if it played at home or away. It was my way of doing it and duplicating the rows. So
that's the correct logic. I think it was something similar that I used. I needed to duplicate the lines and then work with each of the line, for one for the home team and the other for the away team.
All right. If anyone has any thoughts on this is a very interesting topic. Make sure to share in the feedback in the forum, because it's a difficult attribute to work for sure. António, we also have a question here. If a curious question, if this report is if you use for some business application or if it's just a hobby, a private interest for you.
Just for fun, like the others, like the others that I showed, Facebook and LinkedIn. And I can tell you this LinkedIn report is really interesting. But even this, is like a passion, Power BI and football, and I try to put both together, because I think with this kind of reports I can have my own view and see how the teams and players are performing. So I don't need to open different web pages just to see how many goals Ronaldo scored and how many goals Messi scored. I can see in the same table, in the same report, who is performing better.
All right, that's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome,
but this is just for fun, nothing related with business at all.
And António, one final question, which is if you can explain a little bit more on the back end on that login page we were using with the drill through and with the user and the pass.
I'm not sure if you remember, Pedro, but we talked about this some time ago about how to implement this. I think even you have I think I can call it an article online about this. And yeah, I just used the logic that we talked, and I found this component, this is like a filter. I think the name is Smart Filter, to where I fill the user and password.
It's a custom visual then. Okay.
Yeah, it's a custom. You can find it in the market. And this one is the only reason why right now I'm almost above my budget. Was the only thing that I paid for. Yeah, and it was just $1 for now for 2 months. But is the right control to use here? You can fill. So you can put the user and password, and it will filter the data, and it works really well when you want to implement this kind of custom user accounts. And I'm still testing this, but it looks that it works really fine. And the logic behind this, again, is not easy to explain just talking about it. You need to create some measures, some tables with the data, and then you just need to check what is filled in these two. I'm going to tell text boxes. What is filled in these two text boxes, you compare with some measures that you created. If you have a match, you show in this case, you show the login button that is just a table that is there. And when you have a match, one record is shown in that table, so you can drill through to a hidden page. Sorry.
All right, António. So I think it was the final question.
Yeah, I'm not sure which more detail I can add here. It has to be showing something in the Power BI and showing how it is done. I can even create one for the next session. I can create a small example of how it works and to be easy to understand.
For sure. So it's exciting to see we have content to talk for in the near future, for sure. So thank you very much, António. It was a pleasure to have you here and see your passion for Power BI and Portugal.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. So so the next meetup, guys, it's going to be after this session is going to be live. So you guys can register as usual, you'll receive the notification, and see you all in the November 3rd on the Power BI Solutions Showcase. So see you guys soon. Thank you very much all for joining, and see you in the next meetup. Bye bye.